Another year has gone by, which means another game room tour is in order. So sit back, relax, and let me take you through my setup and everything that has changed. Well, here's my gaming setup. A lot has changed since last year, with the most obvious being I finally took the plunge and decided to upgrade to a PC. This rocking an AMD Ryzen 5, as well as 16GB of RAM and a 12GB RTX 3060. Not the most impressive of specs, but it's been able to run every game I've thrown at it with plenty of options to upgrade in the future. The second thing that has changed is my monitor. If you remember, I was using an ultra-wide curved LG monitor originally, but with the new PC, I felt that an upgrade was needed. The new one here is an Ayama 34-inch ultra-wide panel that has the ability to operate at 144Hz, which is just such a game changer when paired with the PC. Underneath my monitor is my Switch, which doubles up as a convenient way to watch YouTube videos whilst playing games. To the left, you'll find my PS4 and PlayStation Vita setup, which are both running custom firmware. It's got to be said the PlayStation Vita is still one of the strongest handhelds in my collection, mainly due to the several tweaks that custom firmware allows. There's a ton of games from the Game Boy Advance to PSP and Super Nintendo, all just a tap away. If you ever get the opportunity to grab a Vita running this firmware, it's one of the best purchases you'll ever make. Now, the PS4, in all honesty, gathers a lot of dust since buying my PC, but there are a few games which I still play. Lately though, as I've mentioned, I find myself playing the Switch far more often compared to the PS4, especially with games like Persona 5 now available on the handheld. It's just perfect having it there on the desk and ready to go. Now, I always get a lot of questions about what I use to create videos here on YouTube. For quite some time I was using an iMac and Final Cut Pro, but not so long ago I decided to upgrade my machine and ended up landing on an M1 Mac Mini, which has completely transformed my workflow. Couple this with the ultra-wide monitor and the extra space it affords the user, editing videos is an absolute breeze. And with the added power of the M1 chip, I've finally been able to produce my videos in 60 frames per second without any compromise to performance whilst editing. When it comes to input, I've got several products I use depending on the system. For Windows, my Logitech G502 mouse takes the main spot when it comes to gaming, thanks to its string of DPI options, custom keys and weights, which make it one of the most versatile input options to use. Moving over to the Mac, I use a combination of the Magic Trackpad and a small program known as BTT Remote. The trackpad is already capable of facilitating a number of built-in gestures to help navigate macOS with ease, but with the added functionality of BTT, you're able to create custom gestures and assign them to a range of functions that shaves off an incredible amount of time when it comes to editing. If you use macOS yourself, BTT is something that I highly recommend you pick up, as will no doubt completely change the speed in which you can get your tasks done. Now, I used to spend a lot of time just sitting at my desk editing and writing, but thanks to the folks over at FlexiSpot, I've been able to take my workflow to the next level by now being able to work for longer periods thanks to the product they've sent, which focuses on ergonomics and the well-being of the user. The product is a desk known as the Standing Desk E8, which offers many incredible features, the best being that you can alter the height of the workspace at the touch of a button. It possesses an anti-collision system, so when either putting the table up or down, if it senses anything obstructing its path, it will automatically stop. The heights reach from 60 centimeters all the way up to 125, and during operation it is not only buttery smooth but absolutely silent as well. It's all made possible by the motorized legs and this handy little display that neatly secures directly underneath the desk. You've got your up and down buttons, which are pretty self-explanatory, as well as 4 memory buttons that allow you to save specific heights and then access them on the fly. It doesn't take too long to get set up, and it really comes in handy as you'll be sitting down working, and thanks to the memory buttons, you don't have to fiddle around with any settings when you choose to stand up. I currently have 3 settings saved on mine, one for sitting whilst editing, one for standing whilst writing, and one for recording voiceover with my microphone. All of that just one simple button tap away. The E8 model also comes with a built-in USB port on the controller that is absolutely perfect for charging devices without having to reach over to the back of the system and faff about looking for a plug. Now you can order the legs themselves and add a table to your order as well, or you can simply grab one from any store, as the legs work with most tabletops as long as it adheres to the size guidelines. The best thing about it is that this product is currently on offer over on the FlexiSpot website, so if you're on the lookout for a new desk setup and are looking to save a bit of money as well, head on over there. There's a link in the description that'll direct you if you fancy taking a look. Let's move on to my collection, which I'll do a brief overlook of. If you want a more in-depth look, please check out my game collecting series, and look out for a video I'll be doing very soon, going over each and every entry in the collection, so make sure you subscribe for that. Now most of my collection fits into this IKEA Calyx unit, but a lot of the overflow is currently in storage until I'm able to get a bigger space, such as my CRT and a bunch of other games and memorabilia that I simply don't have the space to display currently. But for the full collection video I'll be doing in the future, I will have moved by then and have the opportunity to have it all out and ready to go through. As you can see, I'm a huge fan of the Dreamcast and have all of my games set up bang in the center of the unit thanks to these little spaces that break it up quite nicely. These grey spaces are also available from IKEA and are perfect for displaying dual cases from either the Dreamcast or PlayStation 1 system. It even creates a nice little space that PSP, Switch, PS3 and PS4 games fit into nicely. Towards the top of the unit, you'll find most of my 6th generation games from the PlayStation 2, Xbox and GameCube, which was without a doubt one of my favourite times in gaming. Even to this day, I'm going back and finding new games on those systems that continue to impress. Of course, you've no doubt noticed the various models and memorabilia I've collected over the years as well. These are mainly items from my favourite games that I love to collect. To round off the display, I've installed several LED strips that can be controlled using my phone that offer up a series of colours that adds a nice extra touch to the unit and creates a nice vibe for the room as well. Last but not least are these two incredible frames that were sent to me by Grid Studio. They do a great job of taking old controllers and turning them into essentially pieces of art. They take each one of them apart and you'll be able to see the board that goes into the controller, all of the buttons laid out in a nice presentation. If you're interested in picking some of these up for yourself, head on over to their website, which will be linked below. They got loads of stuff there as well. They got Game Boys, Super Nintendos, Sega systems as well. Well, that does it for today's video. Keep an eye out for my in-depth game collection tour that will be coming up soon, so don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to get notified about new videos. You can follow me on all of the socials, which are linked below, to stay up to date, and also join my growing community on Discord to meet many like-minded gamers to continue the conversation with. I'd like to give a special shout out to my Patreon supporters as well: Rhino, Skill Jim, Steve, Richard, Amy, Daniel, Paul, Dio, Omar, Awesome Jacket Dude, Pierre, Carl, Strider, GameCube Galaxy and Paddy J for their continued support that helps make these videos possible. If you're interested in joining my Discord or supporting the channel through Patreon, you'll find all of the links down below. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I'll catch you next time.